So we're going to change the back doors for a tailgate conversion. So we're going to obviously take the doors off and put the tailgate on that we've got just here. I'll show you that in a moment. Typically the T4, the bolts are just here, just inside the door shut, and typically when I've tried to undo them already, they've started to, there you go, you can just see them just there. And typically they have rounded off quite quickly and not moved. The bolts have been on the van, obviously from new. So they've been on there 17, 18 years. So I'm going to have to drill them out to get the doors off. So it's not a job I'm really looking forward to, but hey ho, that's what we've got to do, I suppose. So this is our tailgate for our tailgate conversion. I picked this one up actually a couple of years ago and I've been storing it ever since, waiting to get round to this conversion. As you can see, it's already in white, that's handy. The tailgate itself hasn't got a wiper conversion, which I thought was quite interesting when I first picked the tailgate up. And it hasn't been welded up and smoothed out or whatever. It looks like it's never had a wiper conversion. My first thought on that was that possibly it was a solid tailgate and someone had cut the panel out, put a glass in. But looking at it closely, it doesn't look like that it's had any, it hasn't been cut, and all the panel looks, reasonably factory. So I don't think that's the case. So maybe it was just an optional extra and the box wasn't ticked and they didn't want a rear wiper, which, to be fair, suits me just fine because I don't want a rear wiper. So I wanted to just run through the difference between an early and a late tailgate. This being a late tailgate off a 2001, I believe this one came off. My van being a 2003, so it's obviously ideal for this job. But I just wanted to run through the differences between an early tailgate and a late tailgate. The late tailgate has got the flatter hinges, as you can see there in the picture. They're very basic flat hinge. Now I've got an early hinge just there on the bench, so you can physically see the difference. It's a more curved affair than that, but they will swap over. You can change them over. The other difference between early and the late for mounting purposes is where the strut mounts to the tailgate. As you can see quite clearly there, that's where it goes on the later tailgates. But on the earlier ones, it's a little bit lower, as I believe, a little bit more down here. So obviously strut lengths are then different. Now I think you can interchange either ones, but you have differences with how far the tailgate will open or over open, depending on which one's which, if you get what I mean. So as I said, it's going to be reasonably straightforward. We don't have to change anything from early to late because we have that late tailgate. So that shouldn't be really too much of a problem. So as you can see, rear doors are off. We've drilled out all the bolts to get the doors off. As you can see, like that. Now, that one was as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be hard going, but it wasn't. And the key there was I bought a half decent drill bit, and I was always taught to go nice and slow and steady when drilling something like this. So I did, nice and steady, and they cut through quite easily. I gave about £5 for a 9mm drill bit, and it cut away really quite well. So as you can see, this is just like the original kind of gaskety thing that they put in there. So I'm going to get rid of that. What I'm going to do is just leave those plates in there with the threads. I'm going to clean that back. What we're going to do is going to weld these holes up at some point, clean these right off so it looks like we haven't ever had a tailgate before. So reasonably pleased with that. So that's the first stage. We've got the door off. Now we've got to look at putting the tailgate back on. We've got to drill some holes up the top here. Got to drill some holes up here. The holes are, it's really hard to see on a phone, but the holes are marked in the body but not drilled through, so this should be reasonably simple. yeah, we'll get on with it. Okay, just going to show you this now. We've got a torch. The back end of the van here, you can see inside the hole there that the panel has got 2 indents in it. It's only single skin where you need to drill through. So as you can see, I've just drilled a couple of pilot holes from the inside out in the centre of those holes. And let me negotiate my way out the van. And round we come. As you can see, I've now got 2 pilot holes there where the hinges need to go. So I'm going to drill them through so we can put the tailgate on through those holes. So just run those through with an 8mm drill bit and then a countersink, not a countersink, a deburring tool. Just round off the edges, make sure they're nice and neat. So that's those done. Now I'm going to have the fun and games. I'm going to take the other bits and pieces off, which are barn door related. So this catch there, these things are going to come off that hold the stay. And looking forward to that one, the striker plate. I bet they're going to be fun and games. We might be doing some more drilling in a minute to get those striker plates off. So they're the next bits we're going to have a go at. We've removed the piece from up here, which was doing the interior light. We've removed the bits from there that hold the catches, and we've taken the striker plate off. One of the bolts was only one rounded off, which was quite nice, so we had to drill one out. That was good. So next job is to drill the holes for the struts. Now these need to go. There's a couple of indents in the moulding of the van. Pull back a little bit, as you can see, that's the top corner. There's like these small indents here that are on the body. Now the bracket wants to go between these 2 upper ones, okay? And you need 2 holes there. We're going to drill these through and put 2 riv nuts in there, so we've got a thread on there. Now that wants to be 25mm down from that one, from that line, and that needs to be 30mm up from that line there. And then we have come in 25mm from the edge. Okay, and I've put 2 pilot holes. I'm going to drill them through and put a pair of riv nuts in there so we can bolt the bracket on. And then obviously we're going to do the same with the other side. Righty, that's the brackets on, as you can see, bolted on. I've just put some standard M6 bolts in there for a minute. I'm going to take all this off to paint, so I'll put some decent, nice stainless ones in afterwards. You can see that's how it went with the riv nuts in. They went in reasonably easy. That wasn't too much drama at all. So I'll put the bracket on this side now. Now you've seen that. The next thing is to put... now where are they? These chappies here on, which locate the tailgate as it comes down. Now they go on just here. Now the holes, certainly on my van, have been pre-drilled. So I've just got to put a couple of riv nuts in there, and then we can bolt these things on. So that's the next job. Okay, well that's about as far as I'm going to go for a minute. As you can see, the tailgate is on and in place. Let me show you where we are. Let me show you. There you go. Hinges went in, no problem. It's a bit of a 2-man job to put this thing on, as you can imagine. If you've lifted a tailgate off the vehicle, it's quite heavy. As you can see, the struts are all on. I've put the catches in place, but haven't bolted them up just yet, the locators. And what I haven't done, although I've taken the striker plate off, I don't seem to have at this moment a striker plate, so I'm going to have to source a striker plate. But I'm going to rip all this off so we can repaint everything anyway and weld up these holes. But you can see that the actual tailgate is done. Obviously it hasn't locked in because there's no catch, but happy with that. Yeah, all looking like it should. So really chuffed with that. Of course, if you're going to do a tailgate conversion, then you need to put obviously the striker plate on, and then you need to tuck all the wiring back through the door and get all that to work, which I'll do in time. But as I'm respraying the van at this time, all I wanted to do was get it fitted up, so I'm happy that it's in place. But chuffed with that. It's only taken me about 15 years to get around to that on this van. So that's this part. I think next we're going to get stuck into the bodywork and stuff. So yeah, look forward to it.